So, how's the workload going, Henry? Said Reneus. Not good, said Henry. We're overworked. Top Hat's bringing in a new engine to help with James and Percy and Oliver at the works, but, well, it's an improper engine. Diesels aren't that bad, said Reneus, thinking of Rusty. Oh, not for you guys, but for us they're quite rude. Some go in and try to take over, tell lies. That's terrible, said Reneus. Anyway, when are they getting out? Well, the diesel should only be here a couple days. Percy's slated to get out of the work soon. He just needs to clean up his boiler. That's good, said Reneus. It is, said Henry. Say, Percy, how are you doing? Good. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for somebody, though. I'm sorry, said James. How many times do I have to say that? Until you mean it, said Percy. Now quit your bickering, said Reneus. Sorry, said Percy and James. Anyway, said Reneus, why are you still here, Henry? You usually leave way before me. Oh, I know, but the signal's up, and I can't do anything about that. Driver says something's merging onto our line from the other line. I don't get it, though, said Henry. Anyway, said Henry, you don't get us with diesels. James, well, he hates them. He took the midnight goods to the other railway at a bad time for steam engines. He saw things that I don't think any engine should have seen. Ah, said Reneus. Anyway, said Reneus, do you know when this visitor's coming? He should be through here any moment now. As if on cue, the visitor pulled up. It was a very familiar face to Henry and James, and Henry gasped. I don't believe it, said Henry. Is that... I'm gonna run him off the rails when I get out of the works, said James. Hopefully, for his sake, as well as Oz, he'll be out here long before you get out of those works, James. He better be, said James. I'm gonna shove him off the rails and stick his side rods where the sun don't shine. He'll be here as long as I'm in the works, said Percy. And my boiler flush should be finished soon, said Percy. I hope they'll forgive me for what I did all those years ago, said Diesel. But as he passed down the line, he got nothing but dirty looks from engines passing by. When Diesel arrived, it was night. He saw the twins. Our trains for tomorrow are already marshaled. We'll get out of here, put the van on ducks and get out. There's no need to be rude, said Diesel. We did duck in the big engines all those years ago. And Donald and Douglas left. In order to get a van on Duck's cargo train, Diesel would need to move some old truck that had not moved for quite some time. Diesel went up to the old cars to move. They were very fragile, so when Diesel bumped into them, they tipped off the rails. I didn't even bump them that hard, said Diesel. And he went to go fetch a crane. Diesel had gotten the breakdown train and put the cars back on the line, and again moved the van to the end of Duck's train. It wasn't long before Donald, Douglas, and Duck had showed up and started making fun of him. I tell you, Diesel, every time you come to visit, you end up pushing some old cars a bit too hard. Anyway, I must be going, said Duck, and rolled away. Left the twins. Every real engine knows how to control trucks, and they went away. This time it wasn't even my fault. Are you sure, Diesel? Donald and Douglas told you to be careful with those trucks. No, they didn't, sir. We may have missed out on that, said Donald as he left. You said the Cotton Hat. Well then, Diesel, just keep working in the yards today and try to keep the rest of your trains on the rails. Yes, sir, said Diesel. Diesel's on his way back to the sheds that morning, sulking. But as he approached the signal box, he heard something. Help, I kind of stop, said Douglas. Points. Clear the line. And Diesel switched on to another track. Diesel braked. Douglas and his goods train rammed into him. They were still braking hard when they zoomed through the station. So, Henry, how are you feeling from having all that gravel dumped on you? I'm feeling better, but my boiler still feels loose. Topham Hatt says he'll fix it, but he'll need to have more engines back and repaired before he can do that. Ah, said Duck. Say, look at that. That tugboat snapped the line from its barge, said Duck. And it indeed had. The tugboat was intending on going back to get it when... Honk, honk. Horrors, said Diesel. It's a van. And indeed it was. He was about to go smash into it when a clinking thing from signalman diverted him onto a siding. Into the ocean. And he crashed right onto the dirty coal barge, knocking most of its load into the sea. The tugboat had cautiously and carefully line Diesel up with the track. "Shoo," said Douglas, carefully pulling Diesel right onto the track. Diesel breathed a sigh in relief. "Thank you, Douglas." "Don't mention it. If you weren't here, I would have just wrecked that barge and kept going." "We'll call it even then?" "Even," said Douglas. "Anyway, this train was supposed to terminate at Knapford, so I guess we better go there." "We shall," said Diesel. And they rolled away. "It is terrible that I have to return tonight," said Diesel. All of a sudden, the signalman stepped out. "Diesel, you actually don't have to go tonight." "Why not?" said Diesel. "Topham Hatt saw your work ethic and you've changed. And, he'd like to keep you. I mean, we do need more shunters in the yard." "Indeed we do," said Douglas. "Clear the line to Knapford, will you?" said Douglas. "Will do," said the signalman. And they both rolled away. "Ah, Percy, look, thank you for your boiler sludge. You'll be out here soon?" "I'll be out soon. We can send this Diesel packing," said Percy. "Better sooner than later," said Donald. And he steamed away. Donald laughed. "Only a real engine can handle trucks," he said. But as he was going forward, one of the couplings snapped, and the last three trucks stormed towards the station. Percy at the time was exiting the works, hoping to get back to the sheds for a good night's sleep. The wreck was bad. While Donald's first two trucks in the line that had broken away had mainly stayed on the line, the last truck in the van had came off the lines, taking down a signal and Percy into the tanker of his boiler sludge, which cracked and spilled onto James. "Ew," said James. "I cannot believe this. Percy, how could you?" "I'm sorry I got hit by the end of Donald's train. You're the reason I even need that boiler flush in the first place." "You're all right," said Donald, backing up. "I'll be better when I'm back on the rails." "Be better when I get a washdown," said James. Boko soon arrived with the crane and was busy scolding Donald. Boko laughed. "Oh, only real engines can handle trucks. That is what you said. I mean, Douglas almost went into the sea, and you took out a signal, Percy and James." "What's this about Douglas almost going into the sea?" said Donald. "Douglas was almost pushed into the sea by the trucks, but luckily Diesel helped him so he wouldn't fall in." "That Diesel helped him?" "Yes, and you better get used to it. He'll be staying here a while." But why, sir?" "First, we do need a shunter, Diesel. And second, Percy is going to be out of commission for a while longer, and so is James. And Oliver, well, they haven't even started on him because they're delayed." "Sir, can't you find anyone else?" "Maybe," said Topham Hatt. "Good news is none of the wiring on the signal broke, so we just need to put it back up and it'll be up and running." "That's good, sir," said Donald. "That wretched Diesel's staying on the railway?" "At least for now. If he behaves well, he might stay for good." But, sir..." "I'm sorry, James. As the days go on, it's getting harder and harder to find steam engines, and our workloads are getting bigger and bigger." Soon put the trucks on the rails, rolled away with his trucks.